Now, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor Robert Corbett. Robert, always great to have you on. Thank you for joining me. I almost want to curl up into a little ball of trauma listening to victim after victim after victim for both of these crimes. But specifically now, you think Brandon Boudreaux, that was him. We just saw the back of him. He, of course, at this point was reading a letter from one of his other sisters. But the fact that he's standing there, he survived. But these victims really paint the picture of, in spite of his survival, it has really touched and affected in a very negative way every one of their lives.
Well, first off, thank you for having me. But yes, I absolutely agree. The victim impact statement, or the stage of where victims are able to share their thoughts or how a case has affected them, is very important in every criminal trial. It is the only time outside maybe a bond hearing where victims or those who have been affected can share with the court in terms of what they have been going through over all this period of time. And I like to think at times as a defense attorney that perhaps that it may not sway the judge, but I think it absolutely does. You can't help but be swayed by hearing the trauma that these people have gone through. And when there is any type of discretion in the sentencing, I do think that a judge can be swayed. And when you hear the number of people and the depth in terms of what they've been going through, I think the judge will give her every day that he can, which will probably be another life sentence.
Especially with Lori Daybell, I agree with you. I think she will get life sentences for each of these. I also think the thing with the Lori Daybell is the number of victims grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And the more we listen, the more I realize it's almost never ending how many people have been affected by her actions and the number of people that she has been convicted of killing, and in this case, conspiring to kill. Tell me about the reason why a convicted killer, in this case, Lori Daybell, gets to listen to all of these statements before then having the opportunity to speak on their own behalf or not.
Well, sentencing, or when we're talking about the victim impact statements, a defendant is entitled to be in the courtroom at all critical stages. So unless they are so disruptive to the court proceedings that they cannot remain in court, they are entitled to be in the courtroom. So she gets to or has to hear how she has affected all of these people. And then when you talk about in terms of being convicted before, everyone has the right to represent themselves. And we say, although he who represents themselves has a fool for a client, it may not be the smartest thing to do. But I think part, or at least part of the judge's thinking, is going to be, you have already been convicted multiple times, received multiple life sentences. You had the opportunity to be represented by counsel, and to represent yourself in a way sort of makes a mockery of the proceedings when you're dealing with something so serious. And just to represent yourself to, in a way, it may seem to drag this out. So if the judge could probably do more, I'm sure he will. But in terms of, she would get, as we both agree, probably the maximum sentence he can give her by law.
All right, I have to ask you this. We know Lori Daybell does speak, addresses the court. Any chance, any opportunity for a person who has conveyed herself in the way she has, which is always manipulative, defensive, and never responsible, accountable, or remorseful, any chance after listening to these statements that perhaps today is the day that she decides to show remorse?
I don't think she will do this today, and I'm sure maybe the family hopes, at least in some part, that she would. But based on prior dealings in terms of how she's interacted with this court, I don't see her showing any type of remorse.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, I hope we're wrong, but I think you're probably right. Stand by, Robert. We need to take a break. On the other side, fear and paranoia and anger. Words from the surviving victim himself, Brandon Boudreaux.